Lanarkshire, and I want to start by, first of all, commending Home Start as an absolutely wonderful organisation, which we are very lucky to have in Scotland. And I'm familiar with I explained to Nicky earlier on, I'm familiar with the organisation from my own constituency representation in the city of Perth, where I can see it firsthand, the interaction between volunteers and families, volunteers and mums principally, in supporting families to overcome some of the challenges that we all know family life brings. And I've been in awe at the difference that has been made, the profound difference made on the lives of individual families as a consequence of the interaction. And I'm sure that's exactly the same here in Glasgow North and North Lanarkshire as it is in the city of Perth that I have the privilege to represent. So Home Start is a wonderful organisation, and I'm glad that we're here to mark this significant enhancement in the role of Home Start within our community. Because what today represents is for me an absolute landmark in the fulfilment and the achievement of what I'm trying to lead public policy towards within Scotland. Because what this venture represents, as Mary has so powerfully expressed, is a bringing together around families in surroundings with which they will be familiar and will feel welcomed of all the help and support that they require. It doesn't rely upon families being able to make connections between public services in different parts of the city or between different organisations. It is quite literally that a family could come in the door of the lovely surroundings, and I think it was somewhat undersold as the tyrant janitor's house. It's lovely, you know. A family could come in that door into homely surroundings and feel the benefit and the impact of everybody being on their side to help them to get to a stronger place. And that essentially is when I give speeches to Parliament will return next week. I'm quite sure at some stage in the course of the next week I will utter the words whole family support. And this is what I'm talking about. This is it. This is whole family support wrapped around families in a supportive way to make sure their needs are met and they are able to become stronger as a consequence of what is wrapped around here. Because it's not just about the support that Home Start offers, it's about the drawing together of the work of Greater Glasgow Climate Health Board, of drawing in the support of the City Council and the services available from the City Council, of doing that right in the heart of where people live within our community here in Maryhill. So, if I need to encapsulate what I have in my mind when I talk about whole family support, I will be thinking about this hub here in Maryhill, and don't be surprised if you hear me on my feet talking about this as an example, because it will become a part of what I explain to the wider audience to encourage public authorities. I commend Greater Glasgow Climate Health Board and the City Council for getting into the mix of all this, of recognising services don't need to be delivered in, if I may say, our buildings. They can be delivered in other people's buildings and taking services to people in the community. So that's the vision that I've got for whole family support, and I'm delighted that Home Start in Glasgow North and North Lanarkshire have essentially envisaged that and delivered that within this community. Because this is vital for the future of our country. Because the future of our country needs to see the improvement in the life chances of children. That is why the eradication of child poverty is the central mission of the government that I lead. Because we cannot prosper as a country unless we eradicate child poverty. And if we eradicate child poverty, we will increase the life chances of our children. They will be able to go on to better outcomes in life. And some of the things that we spend an awful lot of money on as a country, which are essentially negative things, where we are picking up the pieces of when life has gone wrong for lots and lots of people, will be spending less money on that in the future, because we have invested in the early years of children in our society. And frankly, there can be no more important investment than the early years of a child's life in Scotland. I'm very proud of the fact that we now have a much more comprehensive early learning and childcare offer in Scotland, and we've expanded that significantly. But how we need to complete that is to make sure that when every child is born in Scotland, they are able to receive the type of support and assistance that they require to enable them to fulfil their potential. Now that will vary across the country, and some children will need less support than others. What's important, however, is that the offer is there to support every child and every family, and this new hub in Maryhill will contribute towards all of that. And my only appeal from today is to Home Start around the country, to the representatives of Greater Glasgow County Health Board, the representatives of Glasgow City Council that are here, is to take this example and evangelise about it to all your networks. So don't let a meeting of NHS midwifery directors around Scotland go amiss without saying, I've been told to say to you, get in partnership with Home Start in your community, and don't allow a meeting of the Convention of Scottish Local Authorities, Mike Burns, to pass without saying to them, we've got this great hub in Maryhill and you should all be following our example. Because that's how great things happen in our country, with people taking good practice and making sure it happens the length and breadth of the country. Because if this is needed in Maryhill, it's needed in every other community in our country. And we've had the opportunity here today to witness the development of this wonderful new project and proposition within the support to children and families in Scotland. None of this happens by accident. It happens because of tenacious leadership. I'm sufficiently experienced about public services that when Mary gave some gentle words there about how it had been maybe a slightly longer journey than everybody might have liked, I know what that really means. That means it was like pushing water uphill. Yes, I can recognise what pushing water uphill looks like. Let's not be pushing water uphill. Let's make it easier for organisations to make headway. But tenacity amongst Home Start will have been at the heart of this. And Home Start is only Home Start because of the work of its staff and crucially its volunteers, wonderful people who give of their time voluntarily to change lives. And frankly, there can be no greater privilege than to change lives. And to various public sector organisations who will have had to do things differently. So I don't underestimate, I don't trivialise how difficult it is to do things differently, to take services out of our setting and put it into somebody else's setting. That takes tenacity as well, and I commend it. And to all the organisations that have enabled this to happen financially and who have seen the prospects and the opportunities here, I express my warmest thanks. I don't think the state can and should be doing everything. We need to make sure that public expenditure is used in partnership with private and charitable support to make sure that as a consequence we're able to change lives in Scotland. And that's exactly what we're going to do in Maryhill. So to everyone who's played a part in all of this, thank you for all that you've undertaken to make this happen. When my colleague Bob Doris encouraged me to come along today to be part of this opening, I was enthused to do so because I suspected I would be seeing a project which visualises all that I'm banging on